Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today it's going to be a match between IdrA and eunbin0904 here on Fighting Spirit. Top left-hand corner is the red Zerg player Eunbin. Don't know who he is, just googled his name, searched the Smurf list, and I still came up empty-handed. If you know who this is, let me know in the comments and I'll update the title here. And in the bottom left, it is the blue Terran player, IdrA. You know him very well. He's an excellent American Terran player. He's retired from the game, but that doesn't mean we can't go back and cast his replays. All right, so... Overlord scouting the wrong way. Anyway, hope you're enjoying these Brood War casts. I've gotten a lot more views lately, so thank you so much for that. Hit that like button if you're looking forward to some IdrA rage, but I can't guarantee that there is because I haven't watched this yet. And if there isn't, then we are all poorer this day. Eunbin. There we go. 9 pool? Yep. Overpool here. Oh, hang on a second. That is not an Overlord. 1 Overlord. All right, man. So we actually have a 9 pool. Here into an extractor. He is planning on some aggression. IdrA scouting the wrong way. This could end very poorly for IdrA. This could be a 2 for you guys. You never know. Could be a sneaky 2 for. I had somebody say and comment that they unsubscribed because of a twofer that I did. He's like, I only like to watch long macro games. You tricked me into watching a short game. I'm unsubscribing. And I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, sure, I will freely admit that I tricked you, but that is a really violent response. I mean, not violent in that he threatened to kill me or anything, but just that is extremely extreme. Anyway, Overlord's going to scout over, see the SCV coming in and say, okay, so not top right, going to drone scout because you need to know where your opponent is here on Fighting Spirit to make this thing work. So he's going to do that, and look who's not walling. Dude, IdrA, you might be in a ginormous spot of trouble here. That is 6 lings popping at about 2 minutes, heading down, finding exactly where you live. Ah, the SCV sees it just in time. Oh, man, that SCV scout. All right, so immediate SCV is coming off the line here. They're going to try to block this ramp. Marine production is coming, but I mean, it was coming anyway, so that doesn't change much. Not enough time to build a bunker. IdrA knows that. He's going to block the ramp with 3 SCVs. They're really good at messing with Zerg AI and pretty tanky at that. I think this is going to get shut down. We're looking at it, and yeah, so the SCVs are repairing each other as well as they can. The Marines are fighting. They're kiting, and it is held. That is a really skilled hold there from IdrA, but what else do we expect from this guy? And I think that might be it. It's time to expand. If you're Eunbin, you can't keep tossing lings at this. You will not get in at all. What a fantastic job there by IdrA. He's going to start building a command center on the high ground. Expansion on the way from Eunbin, but he's behind. It's 10 to 16 workers. He cut tons of drones to make that happen. And the Terran player was just ready for it. No big deal. Again, getting the SCV scout was paramount. If he didn't get the SCV scout in there in time, the lings showed up, he was dead. But based on the timing of that SCV scout, even if this was the last place that he scouted, he would have seen it. So IdrA was prepared. That wasn't luck, actually. I thought it was luck at first, but it wasn't. He got there in time to see the lings come in case it was a 9 pool. If it was a faster pool than a 9 pool, okay. Maybe in that case, he would have been dead. But as it stands, Eunbin wasn't that greedy. He went for the lings. He went for the speed. He probably has too many lings out right now. I'd have loved to see him just drone up a bunch more. Is he worried about a push out? I guess he might be worried about a push out here, but you're not getting up this ramp is what I'm trying to tell you here. Not with 5 Marines standing at the top of it. I mean, getting some fire bats might not be a bad idea here either if you're IdrA. He is going for an academy. Top right is getting scouted by an Overlord. These Zerglings are, again, trying to poke on it. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Stop trying to make Zergling murder of IdrA happen. Macro hatch coming up here too. Eunbin is finally starting to drone up a little bit. He's up to 12 workers now. He's going to do a Maynard transfer down to his natural. Trying to saturate that up as fast as he can. And IdrA, once he has the requisite number of Marines and can support building a bunker here, you know what? I bet Eunbin is hoping that IdrA gets a little bit greedy. Doesn't quite have the forces needed to hold this attack if he comes down the ramp. Because the ramp is all that's keeping him alive, right? If this was flat ground and wide open, These Lings would have gotten in here and surrounded and murdered a long time ago. So if IdrA comes out, thinks he can build a bunker with only this number of Marines, I think... Well, the Marine count is actually getting pretty high. He's being safe. He's got some medics now, too, which makes it so much harder for the Lings to do anything about it. And he's still making Lings. Eunbin, I don't support your plan for making a lot of Zerglings here. I really don't see how this is going to work out for you all that well. Alright, well, bunker construction begins. Zerglings are here. Marines and SCVs coming on in. Everybody's fighting. It's a mosh pit of death. The medics are healing up as well as they can, but the Marines are all gone. Oh, Firebats, though. Firebats with medic support. 3 Lings get on inside. All the Marines are dead. And the plan of Eunbin actually worked. He was able to get on there and kill all of the Marines. Nice target firing, too. And now it can be annoying, but it's going to be it. I mean, it's annoying. Couple SCVs are going to go down, but nope. That's going to be all she wrote. So in the meantime, Eunbin has he's gone for a lair. It's almost done, as a matter of fact. He's throwing up the requisite creep colonies at your front door, just in case the Terran player gets in his head to move across the map and murder you. Which IdrA does have some thoughts along those lines. He's making another barracks. His academy is standing quiet right now, which is just fine. I'd love to see... I guess he's got stim, so it hasn't been quiet all that much. And here we go. Sunken coming up, but it's really only 1 Sunken versus... it's actually not that much. That's not going to happen. I mean, he was hoping maybe that Eunbin was skipping the creep colony, but he's not. The thing about Eunbin is he doesn't have a 3rd base. So it is officially a 2-basing Terran versus a 2-basing Zerg, and if the Terran player is IdrA, you're gonna have a bad time. Zerglings coming on down, trying to see what's what. Are there more units coming? Should I build more Sunkens? And absolutely, you should be building more Sunkens. Suddenly, there's more stuff here, but there's also Lings. I don't know. Trying to, again, keeping the Terran army back with these Lings is super key. Trying to kill these Marines without getting hit by the Firebats is fairly difficult too, though, but this Sunken getting some serious work done. The 2nd Sunken pops, and it's time to get out. You don't want to be losing medics here. Ooh, that was close. 1 medic almost got murdered, but did not end up dying. Spire on the way from Eunbin. You think he's going Mutalisks after this? I bet he is. I bet if you're IdrA, you know it too. Because if your opponent's only making Sunkens and Zerglings, and we're 7 minutes in, it's probably going to be a Spire. So, Engineering Bay exists? Yes, Engineering Bay exists. 6 mutas are on the way. Turret production kind of needs to begin here for IdrA, and he's got 1 at the natural, which is nice, and actually 1 in the main too. So he's all right. He's already got some turrets up. He made them way sooner than he needed to. Eunbin throwing some Lings into the meat grinder, not what you want to be doing here. And is it 3rd base time yet? eunbin0904, come on, dude. This is just... I've never seen a Zerg player win a game where they start out being on 2 bases against the Terran's 2 bases at 10 minutes. I just haven't. So, unless these mutas can get a ton of work done, which they're not going to be able to because additional turrets are in construction and the bio count is really scary high and they've got stim and everything, and they even, in fact, are working on upgrades. They don't have them yet. So, I mean, the muta count is scary, admittedly, but Marines with stim and medics will crush that if you're not careful. He's trying to do the patented catch Marines at the edge of the group thing, but there are turrets around and avoiding those is real, real hard. The muta group is only 7 at the same time. 3rd base. Come on, Eunbin. You can afford it. You can afford it. There you go. There you be. And the muta's trying to do stuff, but it's just not. It's not going to happen. IdrA is just a safe, such a safe and solid player. I mean, he's trying to kill these turrets with some Zergling DPS, but he got 1. Oh, he got both of them. All right. That's more interesting, I guess. A little bit more interesting here. The repair is very real, though, on these turrets. Gets another 1. My goodness, this is more effective than I think it should be out of Eunbin. After I talked about how IdrA was so solid. It's all good. It is all 100% totally good. Starport, and a science facility. Because IdrA knows the key to beating Zerg, no matter what they're doing, is getting science vessels with irradiate. You can irradiate everything Zerg has. That means Defilers. That means Lurkers. That means Hydralisks. That means Mutalisks. That means Guardians. Anything. Drones. You can irradiate drones if you want to. It's real handy. Okay, so the 3rd base is coming up. But again, IdrA has been 2 base and pumping pretty hard here. 42 workers to 31. Lurker Aspect on the way. So that's what we're doing with our further tech here for Yunbin. He's probably done. Well, I was going to say he's done with mutas, but there's 3 more coming up here, so he's really keeping IdrA inside his base, which as a Zerg player, if you can keep the Terran player in their base long enough, you're going to have a good time. I mean, at some point, IdrA's going to want a third. Oh, he's just attacking right into the teeth of those Marines, isn't he? Keeps losing them, too. Oh, there's a bunch, though. All right. I don't know. Is he making good trades? Keep hearing that muta death sound. After every one of those engagements, there's a muta death sound because these Marines have +1 attack. And they have stim. And they have medics to heal them up from being stimmed. And yeah, the mutaflock is actually pretty big. But now we're working in the Lurker Aspect. Maybe hoping to catch IdrA off guard here. If IdrA never makes any tanks, it's kind of harder for him to deal with Lurkers. But yeah, recognizing the threat and the just general number of Mutalisks that are out, IdrA is making more turrets than he normally would here against a Mutalisking Zerg, and it's fine. He's very smart about it. Queen's Nest coming in. Mutas being incredible pests here today. And IdrA has a tank because, you know, even if you think it's just mass Mutalisk, tanks are good. Tanks are good against, again, everything. They're really good against static defense, which you know for sure Yunbin has some of. And there's the Irradiate. Suddenly the mutas are in trouble, and several of them die just because Yunbin is so surprised by the presence of Irradiate. So again, IdrA has some really nice wins under his belt. The fact that he's an American doesn't mean he's bad at StarCraft. There's some really good American Brood War players back in the day. Not so much anymore. I don't think... Are there great American Brood War players today? If so, let me know their names, and I'll see if I can find some of their replays and get them up here for the Americans on the channel. I mean, there are a lot of Russians who watch, I know, a lot of Germans too. A lot of Americans. I think that's probably most of my audience, if I would guess. I don't know. Hard to say for Brood War videos. I know for my channel as a whole, United States is definitely the majority country. But Germany's actually number 2, which I'm surprised by. A lot of English speakers in Germany, I guess. Makes sense. Let the irradiation begin. I don't know what's irradiate, but bear with me on this. We'll call it irradiation for now. So this Ling Lurker army is not going to do super well until Defilers are out. And their hive is done. Defiler mound needs to start now. Like yesterday now. Is that a Defiler mound? It is not. Production tab says Defiler mound. There it is. Okay, we got it. We made it. We made it. But that is a long way from having Dark Swarm, ladies and gentlemen. So IdrA setting up. Scourge flying right over the Marines and accomplishing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy Flanders. I mean, this isn't the scariest of all armies from IdrA here, right? It's decent. It's got 3 tanks. It's got a ton of bio. They've got a ton of medics covering them there. Lurkers burrowing at the front, trying to get Lurkers burrowing at the back, and trying to go for a pincer move. Meanwhile, IdrA is still making Marines, but he can't really come up here because they will die. He needs to wait for a larger group before he moves out. He's killed all the static defense, which is nice. He's firing directly on the hatchery, which will force Yunbin to engage. And engage he will, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, mutas and lings and lurkers. Oh my, the tanks are gone, I think. Bio's kind of trying to engage with this, but not going to work out super well. Tank out, handful of bio remains. Lurker count is real scary. And IdrA has to abandon his quest to murder the natural base of Yunbin. So Yunbin playing pretty well here, I gotta say. That last engagement, if he lost it, he was done. But he came through in the clutch. Another macro hatch here. Consume on the way. And I think the next few engagements are going to have Dark Swarm. And especially because there aren't any tanks left. I guess there was a Radiate, though. I was going to say, you can put these Lurkers at the top of the ramp and really defend against a good number of bio. But with the Irradiates kind of clearing those Lurkers out of that choke, it's not as big of a deal. Yeah, no. Third command center on the way at 14 minutes. It's kind of late for a third base for IdrA, but his opponent's third was late, so I think he can afford it. He's back. He's back from outer space. Irradiate on the Lurkers. The Scourge trying to get hits, not really working very well. Yo, radiation is good on those lurkers, man. Stupid good. Oh! Science Vessel almost down by the Scourge. Not quite. And IdrA very patiently pushing in here. Okay, never mind. Went into the lurkers. Assumed it was dead, I think. There's still a lurker here. So let's fire on those with tanks. Dark Swarm comes up to save the day. Scourge not connecting on anything. IdrA's target firing is insanely good. Look at this. It's 136 to 66 supply. eunbin is in a massive amount of trouble. His main base is getting fired on. Dark Swarm does not save buildings, and that hatchery is dead. I don't even know if eunbin has any kind of an army at all right now. I really don't. I don't think he does. He's making some Hydras. He's making some Defilers. IdrA decides, job well done. Let's go ahead and get home after killing that natural base, which I don't think I agree with. I was expecting him to push in there, and I think he could have. Because look, 4th base done, 3rd base happy for eunbin. I mean, just now landing his 3rd base is IdrA. IdrA's army is pushing up. He's going to try to wipe out this 3rd, and I really think his odds of succeeding here are pretty good. Like, don't put money on eunbin and keeping this 4th base alive, ladies and gents. Keeping these science vessels alive is a massive, massive part of Terran strategy winning this here. Nice plague. Nice plague. Ooh, and the Dark Swarm comes up. All right, all right. Now this is where you make one Mutalisk. There used to be some Mutalisks hanging out. I think they're all dead. And go chop, 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 and kill all of these science vessels. Yeah, the 4th base is gonna die. Actually, you know what? That lurker is stabbing away and does shove away the tanks. Dude, eunbin is hanging on in this game by the absolute skin of his teeth. He's making a handful of lings. He's making a handful of drones. He's making lurkers. He's making scourge that haven't had a lot of success recently. That's okay. It's okay. Does he have enough defending this 3rd is the question, because there are some lings coming down this way. Maybe they thought better of it, but it's 165 to 93 supply. Your radiates are just consistently incredible. Lurkers dying in the ground, in the cold, dark ground with nobody to console them. Scourge, just no. Scourge, no. Zerglings, no. Lurkers are the only saving grace here, and IdrA's kind of engaging in here. Ah, no. Hold on. Oh, the Dark Swarm comes up at the very last second. The Lurker firing on in. Does have 6 kills, and then the backside attack. Ah! IdrA. A bit of a throw there from IdrA, I gotta say. Oh my gosh, all of these medics. The Mutalisk comes in. God, the science vessel count down to 3. All of those medics die. And IdrA on the back foot, as they would say in any sport ever. Holy cannoli. Pushing in there was not a great idea. He tried it and paid heavily for it. So we're at 145 to 94 total supply. IdrA's up, as he's been up pretty much the entire game. I don't think there's been a time where eunbin has been ahead in this match in any sense at all. But he's got 41 drones at 18 minutes, which doesn't seem great. The science vessels are not safe. Okay, one more goes down, one more gets plagued. The Dark Swarms are getting tossed down, at least one. And the Defiler expires because Irradiate is a great spell. Again, it's great, but without it, I think Terran just loses to Zerg 100% of the time. So you have to keep that in mind. In both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, there are certain abilities and certain units that are super good. But then you realize if that unit and ability didn't exist, the win percentage of a certain matchup would just go to 100%. So you have to keep that in mind. If something looks really good, it's for a reason. It makes the matchup what it is. Anyway, let's irradiate some more things. You know, as you do. IdrA not really expanding as much as I'd expect him to do. Are you just going to give up on this science vessel? Yeah, you just traded a science vessel for that Defiler, which... one science vessel for one Defiler is probably a decent trade at this stage of the game, as you have a bunch of science vessels and your opponent only has like maybe 1 or 2 Defilers overall. He has Nidus Canal, right? He does. Yeah, you can't have a 4th base against a Terran without Nidus Canal. Scourge just dying. I mean, Yunbin's control of Scourge here is abysmal. And IdrA, just as time goes on, continuing to just get more and more ahead here. It's 182 to 111 supply. Where's that science vessel that's real injured? I don't know, but that mute is dead now. Again, kind of flying into death here. Training some science vessels a little bit unnecessarily, I gotta say. Oh my gosh, the plague, though. Plague-oo! Tossing down on 90% of the units in that group, including every science vessel, I think. Oh, yeah, that's every science vessel. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Caught that one. Lurkers and Lings are going to have a field day with this group. I mean, you got to get close enough to kill them is the problem, right? Because they can still keep you at bay with their machine guns. You'll notice they're not fully automatic, though. They're like semi-automatics. Alright, so bottom right base is being taken here by IdrA, but it's a lot of Zerglings coming down this way. Nice pick off. 2 science vessels down. The muted control here by Yunbin is not bad. And the left side base by IdrA is actually fine too. So, yeah, I think IdrA probably has this game won. He's dropping inside the main, doing a ton of good work. He's threatening the 4th base, doing a lot of good work there too. The main group is not actually dying, which is super bad news. And then the Dark Swarm, and then this group is out. IdrA's not really paying attention to this, and that gets wiped out. So that's a great win for Yunbin. If he didn't have invulnerable Marines and Fire Bats up here in his main base, wrecking house. We're looking at 8 kills. We're looking at 4 kills. We're looking at 6 kills. And finally, enough Lings will come up here to handle this. Not before more stuff dies. I mean, this is just IdrA in control of this game in every possible way. Oh, did they let that command center finish? I bet they did. I mean, that's a lifted command center. It's not going to die, but it's annoying nevertheless. That said, IdrA still, again, happy on 4 bases. Real happy on 4 bases. Yunbin has to replace his Defiler round. He's got Ultralisks. This drop is really ill-fated. Scourge, oh my gosh, the Scourge walk right over those drop ships. Could have wiped them both out. That is a moment in which this game could have been won by Yunbin, and he just missed. Just whiffed it good. I mean, the Spire's down. All these Marines are dead. And the Ultras are going to try to do something here. We've seen Ultras do pretty well against this, but we're looking at 3-2 Marines, which is pretty scary. The Ultras are sitting at, they got their 5 armor and their +2 attack, which is nice. Is he building 2 more Ultralisk Caverns? 1 there and 1 here. Okay, so he really doesn't want to lose his Ultralisk Cavern again. This is his late game strategy, is Ultralisks. Which, is he repairing his science vessels? I think IdrA's repairing his science vessels, yo. There's your Dark Swarm. There's your Ultralisks. They're getting up the ramp. They're getting on top of the tanks a little bit. The chaos is real right now. Zerglings running to their deaths at the 6 o'clock position that IdrA has. So that's not going to happen. But IdrA is going to lose his 9 o'clock as far as all the SCVs go. They might just have to run away. This Ultralisk. Catching the splash, though. He dead. That's a lift. Comsat station. Ultras, Lings coming down on top of the tanks. No Dark Swarm to protect them, but you know what? They might actually win this with their combined forces. Zergling, what is this? What are you doing? Oh, there's a Defiler that's supposed to be involved here. He's not, though, and he's dead. Okay, that was real sloppy. IdrA just kind of walking into Lurkers a little bit before they're dead. Nice job staying in the Dark Swarm, though. I mean, Yunbin is kind of, sort of doing this in a tiny way. Yeah, Fire Bats into your Dark Swarm. That's what you want to be doing if you're IdrA. But then if there's Lurkers, it's a problem. Another plague goes down. These poor medics are never going to heal ever again. 5 more Ultralisks on the way from Yunbin, though. I mean, I don't know. It's a 3-basing Terran against a 4-basing Zerg. Like, for all the craziness that has happened in this game, Yunbin still has a good economy. He probably should be on 5 bases at this point. I'd love to see him take that 12 o'clock if he could. Comsat station down. Firebat probably going to die. Oh, yeah. 2-shot by that Ultralisk. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Super dead. Super Mega Ultra Lightning dead here. 4 kills on the Ultra. But he's run into the buzzsaw that is the entire Terran army. And, I mean, he gets another kill. And another one. And another one. And another one. You see how Ultras are a good answer to Marines? That's what we're talking about. Dude, the drop play, though, by IdrA has been stupidly great. It really has. These Ultras are kind of stuck. Now they're jumping out. Man, interesting going after the Spire here. I guess he really doesn't want more Scourge, even though the Scourge haven't done super well today. Dude, Plague. Plague, consume, Plague. And Dark Swarm. And the top right base is survived, but look at all of the irradiated Ultralisk. It doesn't kill the Ultras, but by golly, it takes a huge chunk out of their health pool and makes it much easier to deal with down the road. Plus, ground to air hurts. And these are hurting each other. You know what? Those Ultras, they didn't have to die, but because they were standing next to each other, they did. eunbin! It's a sloppy game, eunbin. It's a sloppy game you're playing. You could have killed... Dude, if he had killed this 6 o'clock, which he could have done, he very easily could have done, he could have won this game. I mean, the Zerglings have adrenal glands, which is awesome. Are they going to get this command center? No. Because the repair is real. But the southern base is dead now. So the 6 o'clock is out. Another drop from IdrA in the top right. Taking the 9 o'clock, or the 3 o'clock rather, is eunbin. I mean, eunbin can't win this, right? There's just not a win condition here for him other than destroy all of IdrA's income and keep your income alive, which is not happening. It's just real. Again, these Ultras have been previously irradiated. Just not all of them have. Defensive Matrix Marines holding their own here. Defiler. Gosh, a Plague would be so great here. This base is dying. Remember what I said about the win condition being for eunbin just to kill IdrA's economy? He's working on it. He is. I mean, his top right base is gone. But he's got another base to make up for it. And IdrA's income is sort of incredibly abysmal, actually. These Adrenalings, man, they've got 2 attack and 3 armor. These SCVs are not going to win. Bringing this Ultra in to help with this small group of reinforcing units would be really nice. The engagement up north is still happening. These Marines trying to kill eggs that contain Ultralisks, which, nope, not going to happen. Roar! Oh, gosh. And half of these guys are plagued, too. Holy crap, this game. This game is pretty great, y'all. This Ultralisk is trying to get rid of all of these guys. He just doesn't have the stamina available, though. That's a lot of tanks. IdrA finally into the tank game right now. And everybody has to retreat from that. This is a really scary ratio against Ultraling tank here. Why would you jump out here? Desperation is why. Look at this science vessel count. It's actually comical how many science vessels there are. That said, this left side base is dead, and IdrA's income is nothing. He's down to 67 minerals. Holy cannoli, this game. What is going on right now? Dude, eunbin, there's no way. There's no way eunbin wins this game. There's just not. I don't see it. IdrA has 29 SCVs. He's retaken this left side base, the only one he has, as far as income is concerned. You could just leave, seeing as you already lost. I guess you lost 20 minutes ago, so why not wait a little bit longer, says IdrA. We got it. We got the rage out of IdrA. It's not often that he rages when he's winning, but he's raging today, throwing the old Boxer maneuver over on eunbin's most of his economy. I mean, this is just brutal. This is just brutal to try to handle. And IdrA going for the hammer. It's 137 to 64 total supply. IdrA does have an economy again, but just barely. These guys, you don't get credit for... Do you get credit for those kills? If you kill something while you're irradiated, I don't know. But yeah, eunbin is down. I mean, IdrA's gonna lose his income here, but if we're base racing it, and that's your good game. Good game rematch? No, says IdrA. Dude. That was close. That was stupidly close. Hit that like button if you enjoyed that game real quick. Doesn't cost you anything, but wow. IdrA had no income. None at all. Anywhere. Hold on. Is there a mineral patch? There's one mineral patch here. No income here. No income here. No income here. No income here. It's just that he has an army and he has 1,000,000 science vessels, and anything that eunbin makes gets irradiated to death. And he's done. But gosh, eunbin took IdrA to the very brink. Right? To the brink. Wow. I mean, yes, he's not wrong. I feel like IdrA probably won that thing 20 minutes ago. I think he won that thing when he successfully scouted the 9 pool and stopped it with minimal losses. Right at that point, the Terran player is feeling all right. The muta attacks were annoying, but didn't get a lot done. IdrA's upgrades were fantastic. He never really was able to expand as much as he wanted to, but he got a million science vessels out. The initial attempts to keep the science vessel count down with Scourge were just abysmal and didn't succeed at all. And then from there, it was just kind of a steamroll. I mean, a couple times IdrA overextended and lost most of his army, but his macro was always on point. You never lose the macro. That's something IdrA never does, is lose the macro. And there was a window. There was a window in here for eunbin to win this game. And I'm sure he watched the replay and was like, why? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And these are questions everybody asks themselves from time to time. So at the end of the day, 202,000 points for IdrA, 186 for eunbin. 612 Zerg units produced to 425 Terran units produced. That's not a great ratio for eunbin. You need to outproduce the Terran a lot more than that if you're going to win, and I guess that's what we were looking at, right? Resources, eunbin did a pretty Zergy job of it, I gotta say. Significantly outgas-mined IdrA. Same thing with minerals. And same thing with spent. About 9,000 more resources spent. He was using Dark Swarm. He was using Plague. It's just, I think the key is he couldn't keep the science vessel count low. There were like 16 at the end of the game, which you can't do. You cannot do if you're going ultra. You can't do if you're doing anything. Right? No matter what you're trying to do against the Terran, Irradiate's going to be really good. There's nothing you can make that is going to be bad. Irradiate's going to be bad against. So, Terran players get Irradiate, win, I think is the key here. But that's going to be it for me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.